crafting buddies. It's Lori, late night Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Craftin. How are you tonight? It is Sunday, January 11th at 11:59 p.m. It just flipped to midnight. So technically we're on Monday, but we'll pretend it's still Sunday night. I got my phone rebooted. Let's see if I can get today's up here and see if we've got any sound. Good. Oh, we do have sound. Yay. Woohoo. Then let me get my computer up and we will get going. I think we're almost there. We are here. Yay! Alrighty. I'm just going to give it a minute or two. Well, probably not a minute, but there. All right, I think I'm ready to go. So welcome. Welcome. I know sometimes folks don't come on right away because they like to avoid all the little announcements, which is fine. I get it. If you're new to the channel, feel free to chime in. Let me know where you're joining from. And I'm just going to roll through some of my announcements really quick. You can find all things Stampin' Up! Because I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, and I love to share my love of crafting. All right. If you haven't subscribed to my page, subscribe. If you want to be notified when I go live, which is pretty much every night, somewhere around midnight. Sometimes a little bit earlier, but not usually. Not usually, excuse me. But all things Stampin' Up, my store, all of that is available at latenightlory.stampinup.net. You can find me there. All of the specials, promotions, that sort of thing. I'm going to whiz through them pretty quickly here tonight. And we'll get busy with some new stuff. You can kind of get a sneak peek here. So, Paper Pumpkin subscribers, add-on dies are available. These are a quarterly set of dies that coordinate with our Paper Pumpkin kits. You have to be a subscriber to get them. This set of dies is $13. You can use it long after the Paper Pumpkin kits come through. And I have, a couple years worth of these dies. They're really fun little dies. But these will coordinate with the upcoming projects, or products rather. And I have an extra set that I purchased. So if you subscribe through me as a new subscription before February 10th, I will put you in for a chance to win a set of those dies. We also have a virtual card retreat coming up. This is January 22nd and 23rd, which means we have not quite a week and a half. Like what, 9 days? 7, 8, 9? 9 days. This is going to be basically a masterclass put on by Stampin' Up! It's all virtual. It'll be on a Facebook platform. After the live is done, they will download the videos and then upload them again so that they will be available into perpetuity. And we'll be able to access it on demand. So if you haven't had time to order the retreat kit, if you're not going to be able to watch live, don't worry. If you are still interested in this, there are going to be 15 kind of advanced level cards. You might kind of recognize that one because we struggled through that one. I'm anxious to see the simplified method that they give us to make that. But we'll get all of the information we need for this. Most of the parts and pieces we need for this retreat will be in the kit when you order it. So there'll be cardstock that's, designer series paper that's exclusive to the retreat. There are ephemera pieces that are exclusive to the retreat. You'll get a full pack of basic white DSP, enough envelopes to do the cards, some embellishments, an exclusive stamp set, a preview of an upcoming bundle. What else is there? Some flip-flaps. We'll have PDF instructions, cutting guidelines, all of that sort of thing is included with your kit. There is no registration or fee for the online class. If you are local to me and are purchasing the kit and would like to do a watch party with me, basically, let me know that you intend to come. I will have the studio open if anybody's going to purchase that kit. You do have to purchase the kit, though, to participate in my watch party, because my kit's not going to have enough of the extra parts and pieces because it all goes into the cards. All right, 15 of them. If you are a demonstrator and have not gone to Onstage before, you need to think about going. This is an awesome event. It's for demonstrators only. This year, the United States event is going to be in Long Beach, California. I'm going to be there. I'd love to see you there. If you have questions about that, feel free to reach out. We've got some new kits that came out. January, we had 3 kits. Normally there are 2. Once a quarter, we get 3 kits. So there are 2 non-stamping kits. So there is this Adopt a Pet kit. And this will be good for the younger crafters in your lives. There's a dog, a bird, a cat, and a guinea pig. They get little adoption certificates. They get to create the little crate. That's a non-stamping kit. This is also a non-stamping kit with some floral elements there, some foliage elements, some nice bright colors. And then there is this butterfly kit. This will do 9 cards. This is a stamping kit, so you get a stamp set exclusive to the kit. An ink spot and a block will come in there, and then all of the parts and pieces you need for your kit. I almost tried to fix a zoom on my tablet. That won't work. Bonus days. Bonus days are going on. They started January 6th. They will end on February 2nd. What bonus days is an opportunity to earn money back, basically, all right? So with every incremental purchase of $50 of product, so before tax and shipping, you will earn a $5 coupon. And I am calling this the Earn It and Burn It Club, because you earn it through February 2nd, and then February 3rd through the end of February, you get to burn them. If you don't burn them, if you don't use them, you will lose them. So make sure that you save your coupons that you will get by email. I got a couple of coupons already from an order I placed on the 6th, but you also get Stampin' Rewards. So make sure that before you place your order, you opt in for Stampin' Rewards if you have not done that yet, because you will earn Stampin' Rewards in addition to the bonus day dollars. And it's just an all-around good deal. So if you spend $50, technically it's only you're spending $45 because you're going to get that $5 back. We also have a new program that Stampin' Up! Started that's product of the month. So this started in December, and let me turn on my other light too. This started in December, and the first product of the month was a 12-pack of Designer Series paper in, what was it called? Hues of Blue, Hues of Blue, maybe. Very fun paper to work with. January's product of the month is this fabulous Sayings stamp set, and I love the font on here. I love the casually scripted font. The block letters are fun too. I think that'll make a lot of fun projects, and it's not seasonal, so you can use this all year long, right? Lots to do with that. The way this works is with a qualifying purchase, which is $75 in product, you have the option of adding this stamp set for just $5, which is really good for a stamp set. If you look through the catalogs or online, you'll see stamp sets are considerably more than that. So that's a really good deal. You don't have to purchase it if you don't want. If you don't want the stamp set because you've got a lot of sentiments already, but you still like the paper from December, if the paper is still available, you can order the December paper instead. You can select the product of the month that you want as long as it is still in stock. Once it sells out, it's gone. They're not bringing it back. You are limited to 1 each of the product of the month. Not 1 per month, but one of each month's offering. So you can only get one December pack of paper. You can only get one January sentiment stamp set. So if you want to get two in the same month, let's say there's one from a previous month that you did not get before, you have to make two separate purchases because the system cannot differentiate more than one product of the month per order. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have questions, feel free to reach out. And then we had a new catalog that went live just last week. It seems like it's been longer, but January 6th is when this catalog went live. And we are going to play with, is Cutest as a bug in here, or is that an online exclusive? It's an online exclusive, so it's not even in this catalog. I think that's what it's called. Cute as a bug. Let's take a look at the paper. Yep, cute as a bug. So let's look at the paper. Cute as a bug, page 43. Maybe the stamp set is called something else. Oh, sweet bugs. All right. So we're going to play with this a little today. And I was in a demonstrator, basically a retreat yesterday. It was virtual, but it was amazing. And we made or I didn't actually make it because I just watched, but there was a really cute card made out of this set. Now, unfortunately, right now the Sweet collection is sold out because it's been very popular. The stamp set is sold out. The dies are available. I believe the ribbon and the embellishments are available. The paper is definitely available. So we are going to make our card just showcasing the paper, because I did not order this bundle. I did not order the whole suite in my pre-order as a demonstrator. In retrospect, I'm thinking I should have, but there were just so many things I liked, I couldn't get everything. All right. Even though MacMan thinks I probably do order everything that's available, I don't. There's a lot of things I don't get, even though I'm getting Stampin' Up! Boxes pretty regularly. So anyway, we're going to play a little bit with this, and we're just going to make a basic card. We'll have to find a different sentiment from what's on here because I didn't get the stamp set. So I will explain as we go how this was designed in the retreat that we did yesterday. Let me back this up a little bit here. I think that's a little bit better. Maybe I should go a little bit further. There we go. I think that'll work. Let me know if you need it zoomed in a little bit more. We are going to, I got a bunch of things cut ahead of time as I was waiting for my phone to restart because I didn't want to have audio issues. So we're going to use a piece of old olive design cardstock. So what I have done is I have scored it at 5.5. If you've been crafting with me before, you know I like to do less work if I can, right? So if I score once and cut once, I'm happy. So I scored at 5.5. I cut it 4.25. So I've got my 2 card bases, and we're going to do a landscape card rather than a portrait card today. So let's go ahead and just burnish that quick. All right. And then I have a card base. So this is 4.25, 4 by 5.25. And then I have a layer to go inside as well, and that's the same size. We're going to do a little fussy cutting, or fussy cussing as the case may be, on the inside. And then I have 5 strips of the old olive. Now, if there's a different color from the paper that you like better, and that's what you want to have your base and your layers be, by all means, make it the colors that you like. Old olive is one of my favorites. So that's what I happen to do, and that's actually what the sample yesterday was done in. So we have got some old olive cardstock, and these pieces are 7/8 inch by 3 3/4. And those are, this is kind of like a panel card, okay? Those are going to go there. And this is just, it's a very easy card So it shouldn't take us too long, but I always say that and it always seems like it takes us a long time, but once people start chit-chatting, then sometimes it just, one thing leads to another, and then we just have conversations because this is all kind of just a Craftin' Peeps hangout. All right, so those will be on there straight, maybe, unless we decide to make them not straight. And then we've got some pieces of basic white that are 3/4 of an inch by 3 5/8. I'm just looking at my notes here. All right, so we'll have those there. And you can see I've got some, oops, you can see I've got some other little pieces of designer series paper. Now the way this card was designed was with the stamp set. The idea was to stamp those images on this top piece of white, but not do them all as a single image because you want to line up their faces on each panel. All right, and that doesn't necessarily work with just a stamp set. And then what they did was the demonstrator that led the session just used ink, the alcohol blends, to color in all the little bodies. All right, and I don't know if you've noticed, but in the catalog, when you see some shading on a stamp set like this, let me zoom this in again. Hopefully I'm not making you too dizzy. But when there's shading on the stamp set, that means there's a die that cuts out that image, just so you know. All right, and then usually the dies also cut out images from various parts of the designer series paper. All right, so what I did then is I just took this piece of designer series paper and I found some of the little critters that I liked. All right, and I just started cutting out the strips. And these are smaller strips. How big did I make them? I don't see my note on that. Let's see if I can, let me just get my trimmer out here. We'll see. These were 5/8 by 3 1/2. I'm pretty sure 5/8 by 3 1/2. All right, so that's what those were. And I cut 5 of those as well. So what I ended up doing then is just finding the images that had the little critter faces, and randomly those are going to come onto our card. All right, and we're just going to put this all together, and we're going to put a sentiment on here. And then there are just some awesome embellishments somewhere. Here we go. Hey Yuda, how are you? We've got these ladybugs and then these clear epoxy circles. They're small and medium-ish. Those are kind of like to represent dew. So we're gonna put some of that on there, and then we're gonna find a sentiment. On the inside, what I thought I would do is find one of the scraps here and cut out, we'll fussy cut a couple of these little ants and put those on the inside of our card. And I'm not one of those people. I wish I could put a poll up on here, but I don't know if I can get those set ahead of time. Sometimes I struggle just to get in here by midnight, so trying to get a poll set up. Who knows how well I would get that carried off. But anyway, who's Team Fussy Cut and who is punch, die cut, or just not cut? I am not a fussy cutter by nature. I have to kind of force myself to fussy cut. And I'm going to fix that flag in a little bit. That doesn't, I don't like how that's cut out there. So I'll do it, and I don't, I never thought I did that good a job at fussy cutting, but the more I do it, the more comfortable I am with it. And the key is pretty much just move your paper, not your scissors so much. Some people just whip through it really fast, and I think I'm just too worried about cutting a head off or something, you know, cutting a leg off. So I don't want to go too fast because I feel like I won't maintain control of my paper or something. It's a risk. It's a risk when you go too fast. So I figured we'll get this done early. Sorry, it's kind of painful watching me fussy cut, but this is the only piece I'm planning on fussy cutting is these couple little ants here. So it shouldn't be too much longer. We'll just touch up a couple of these spots. Yuda, what's your favorite new product? Do you have a favorite? I'm just going to cut around this flag a little bit closer. It might not even really matter because it's going to be going on white on the inside of the card, but it'll make me feel better if it's cut a little nicer to start with. All right, so that's going to go inside our card. You know, these little mushrooms or toadstools are pretty cute too. I wasn't planning on fussy cutting more, but this one will go pretty quick. These are mostly straight lines. Because those might be kind of cute. We might need that on the front somewhere too for the sentiment. We'll see. The paper is adorable. And I didn't originally get the whole set because you know, there's only so much you can get, right? And I have a lot of stuff. Although since I do videos every day, I'm crafting every day, which is important because then I don't feel like I'm wasting the money. But you can only get so much stuff. So I didn't originally get the stamp set and the dies because I didn't think I'd use them because I'm thinking, well, you know, it's kind of young-ish. But then I saw some of these projects yesterday and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, that is just so adorable. So I'm just going to flitz through this paper quick. And we may do just a simple card too. So I might have to fussy cut something else. We'll see. But these are just really cute. The little daisies on the back. This one is going to be a really nice simple card where you can just make a card front, slap a sentiment on it, and you're going to be done. This would make a cute focal point on the front of a fun fold. In the back, these folks are cute. That's got an acorn topper for a hat. I just love those. Very cute. Oh, and the back side is the quilted. And then we've got the different berries here. I love this. More quilted. And then more of the mushrooms. People call them toadstools. I've never done that. And that's adorable too, to make like a little picnic scene. So let's set this out of the way for right now. And let's just put this little card together. And then we too have to figure out a sentiment to put on the front. All right, so let's not lose those. So let's just start gluing. This is super, super easy. So if you need the measurements again, just kind of scroll back to the beginning of the video or watch, you know, replay it later. I pretty much said what all the measurements are. And I am a green glue person for the most part. because that gives me a little bit of wiggle room. So if I have stuff that's not quite straight, I can shift it a little bit. So that can go there. And then I'm just going to start gluing these together. And then we'll lay them back on our card and do what I call a dry fit. And then we'll start from the middle probably and work our way out. But I thought this card was so cute. And the way the gal had done it with the stamp set and then colored it by hand, it was just adorable. But I think the paper is a pretty good rendition of the card as well. And we now have a lot more little children in the family, little ones, to recent teenage, you know, just acquiring the teenage title. So I have several little ones that I could send these cards to. I just need to get them in the mail. Use my time a little bit better. I don't know what it is. You know, I used to work 50 to 60 hours a week with my full-time job, and then did all the stuff at home, although I wasn't crafting every day like I do now. So that didn't start till I retired. So there's that. But it's like, how did I work and get all this other stuff going on? I find I relax a lot more, which is important. So this would really, these papers would go good with so many different colors. Like the Poppy Parade would be good with the little ladybugs. I don't know if this is like pretty in pink. There's some crushed curry in the bumblebee. There is some blackberry bliss, I think. That praying mantis is knitting a scarf or something. I cut most of that off. But these panel cards, we made one a while back, and I had received one in the mail or as a swap. I don't remember what, or I might have seen it, somebody else doing one. I thought those were just so simple, but very cute. Or pretty, depending on what papers you're using. But I did it like with the Gallery Blooms paper. We did a panel card. That was quite pretty. Did you recently change your handle, or is that a YouTube thing? Because now it's, I don't remember the 2025 always being on there. But now that I think about it, YouTube changed how the names display, didn't they? All right. So let's go ahead and, you know, actually it might be kind of fun to put one of these up on dimensionals even. Maybe we could put that center one up on dimensionals. That might be fun. Give a little bit more depth. Try to keep my mess contained. And then I did finish off those scrapbook pages from yesterday, except for adding my pictures, of course. And cutting out the page protectors. I didn't cut those for the pockets. All right, so these can actually go in a little closer. I could probably have made those panels a little bit wider. But I just kind of went with it. Isn't that cute? I'm just going to finish gluing those on. Oh, all right, so that's why. Well, at least I'm not totally oblivious. I realized that something looked a little different. And we're just going to kind of line these up. So simple, but so cute. I wish I could say, oh yeah, I came up with this all on my own. But a lot of times I find myself when I have new paper or new stamps, I have to look at something else for inspiration. And whether I make it exactly as it's demonstrated or shown, or if I change it up just a little bit, it just helps me get more creative if I start with something that I see that's already cute, right? Do you do the same thing? Or do you just create on the fly and everything comes out pretty cool? How cute is that? All right, so now on our inside piece, we're gonna do these little toadstools, but I'm gonna go get an alcohol blend and I'm going to kind of ground them a little bit so that they're not just hanging in midair. Got a few different colors here. Let's see how it looks. Now, one of the things that the gal yesterday did was she took like the balmy blue and outlined. Let me do it on a scrap first just to make sure I'm not going to mess it up. So she outlined the image and it just gave it a little something. And then if it was too dark, she just took the color lifter and muted the edge a little bit. It's kind of an interesting technique. So let's give it a whirl. And I'm using the bullet end. I got just a little piece of glue on there. There we go. It just kind of framed them a little bit, you know. I want to make sure I don't go over onto the white layer piece. I should have colored these before I glued them on, but it totally slipped my mind. And then I'm looking at them thinking, oh yeah, they had outlined them. Just kind of, I don't know if it softens up the image a little bit. It just kind of changes the look just a little. And this is Light Pool Party, because it's a light blue already. And I think I'm going to use the color lifter on this one. Just because that's such a light color anyway. We'll make that a little lighter. Cute. So you can do this, it's almost like a little spotlight kind of technique. And I've done it before, like with yellow around the edges of certain images. Let's just do a little color lifter on all of these, I think. Soften it up just a little bit. That one probably doesn't really need it. All right, and then I'm going to use, I don't know if we should like draw some grass. Yeah, that might be fun. Because there's some grass there. I'll just draw a little grass around these where it looks like it needs it. And that way it doesn't look like they're actually floating in midair. The bee I'm not going to worry about. So the problem with using like the images from the stamp set, stamping it all at once or cutting it out from the designer series paper all at once, is that you could get their butt over here and part of their face on another panel, and that just kind of didn't look right. That's kind of fun. All right. So once I find a sentiment, we'll be good with that one. So let's do a little work on here. And I'm just going to use a little bit of crumb cake here. And maybe I'll use the brush end. Whoa. And I'm just trying to kind of make some ground for this to sit on. So it looks not like it's just, see how plain that looks there? And then see how just a little bit of ground makes it look like it belongs there, right? I think so anyway. They look like they belong there. And then let's go ahead and do the same thing with their little ants. And then we'll use the color lifter there too. I think I'll use the brush end. We'll just mute that down a little bit. And I'm using the side of the brush so that I don't break the tip, right? And I know this is called a color lifter, and I've mentioned it before. I believe it to be more of a color pusher because it seems to push the ink more than anything else. Whoops. Guess I should keep them right side up. Look at how nice that looks when you put them on there as opposed to just having them hang out on the white background. And now this would be a good one to let sit and get transparent because there's some little parts in there, and then it kind of becomes more of a sticker than a gluey mess. So we're just going to set that there for just a minute or two. And then let's see about finding a sentiment. Something fun. If I have anything suitable. Well, that might work. That might work. Trying to think what I did with all my new stamp sets. I have them all moved over, so we could do something like this. If friends were flowers, I'd pick you. There's a couple little flowers on there, but we could probably put like a circle over here to cover up where I'll show you what that looks like here. So the praying mantis, and maybe I should zoom that a little bit for you. The praying mantis is knitting a scarf, and that's what this is here. So if we put a little sentiment over there, it would cover that part up so it doesn't look so random. Or we've got sending flowers and sunshine. Did I say that one already? No. If friends were flowers, I'd pick you. Maybe sending flowers and sunshine. We could just put a little banner over there. Or I've got another one that says hello. That might be enough. Just a note. Lots of fun ones, but it takes, there's one that says hello. There's a couple that say hello. Whoops. I dropped just a couple things there. Some paper and stamps. What are you thinking? Hello, Susan. Yeah, this is fun. This is the Cute as a Bug paper. I'm just looking for a sentiment to put on here. Something that looks kind of whimsical. Oh, I have quite a few to look through, so sorry. I should have picked out my sentiment earlier. Well, maybe we can just use one of these. What do you think? We've got sending flowers and sunshine. There's just a hello on here. That one might be fun too. Or if friends were flowers, I'd pick you. Oh, what about this? What about Oh Happy Day? The hello. That little hello is cute, isn't it? The paper is kind of busy. And if we did, we could even emboss this and put a cute little banner, or I could just stamp it on white and create a little banner that way. Let me get the old, oh, what color ink do we want to do? I'm going to get some Secret C. I think that would, or maybe I could get the, which one is this? Blackberry Bliss. Let's see, Old Olive. So we could do the Blackberry Bliss, but that's going to be covered. Old Olive, and then it's kind of bland, or we could do that. I think we'll try that one. Yeah, I don't think bugs are cute anytime other than when I'm stamping them. Oh, that one didn't stamp all the way. There. Let's just see how this looks cut down a little bit. Hello, hello. What do you think of that? Border them in ink a little bit. Oops, I'll have to redo that one. I got a little smudge of ink on there. That's why I stamped extra, just in case. We've had some unusual bugs by us. We've had praying mantis. We've gotten walking sticks. I don't know what their real name is, but they look like a twig. But they're a bug similar to like the praying mantis. And I don't like that one. And they're really kind of weird looking. They just blend in with the vegetation. Let's try this one more time and hopefully I won't get it glopped up. There. How's that one? Hello, hello. Oh, and then where did I put my, oh, there's my, there's my ants glued to the back of my ink. But that's the beauty of doing the green glue and letting it set a little bit. So it becomes kind of like a sticker. How cute are those guys? So this will put it inside. What do we think of the hello, hello? One hello enough, two hellos. I kind of like the 2 myself because it kind of fills in some of those blank spots. Perfect, good. Cute. Let's cover this up. And then my dimensionals here. And then the only other thing we need to do is and because I put where I put my dimensional, maybe I should try to move this over a little bit. Oops, too far. Put a little glue here because I put this middle one up on dimensionals just to give it some depth. I can go there now. Then we need some little dewdrops and or ladybugs. Now these are really nice and flat. I'm going to put that ladybug right over there. Well, there's another ladybug there. Maybe just, no. Maybe I don't know. Kind of wanted it covering stuff up, but maybe I don't need to worry about it. That makes it look like the ladybug's leaving some trail behind. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe not. And we'll put a couple of these little dewdrops on. Where do we want to go? Maybe a dewdrop there. I'm using the itty bitty little ones. And we'll just put them in these flowers. I think that looks cute. I'll flip over here. There we go. There's our card. Very simple, but super cute. And again, the gal who showed this yesterday at our demonstrator event, she used the stamp set rather than the paper. Since I don't have the stamp set, I use the paper. Because you use what you have. And another one that might work with this is if you had like there was a Ladybugs one that we had too, stamp set and punch. You could do something very similar with that. So then let's just do one other quickie little card. So we've got all of these pieces here. So like this sheet, this is 4 inches, 4 inches, and 4 inches. And then this is 3, 3, and 6 for each of those. So you can cut them down into these small postcard kind of pieces and do a layering effect there. So cute. I love this little like tablecloth plaid. And then of course you've got the like foliage piece on the back, the design on the back. That's cute too. So these then you would just cut down. So if we, let's say we use this one and just cut it down. I think we're going to get the Blackberry Bliss and make a layer. if we put this on here, I love how the Blackberry Bliss and that Old Olive look together. Thank you for popping in, Yuta. Sleep well. And then we're doing this piece. So we're going to just cut that little ant off, because we need 5 1/4. That just cut the face off the ant. Oh well. And then it's already at 4. Oh, we need to go down a little further. So did I do that? So 3 3/4 by 5 I need. And that'll go on there. And we can take this hello. I've got the Blackberry Bliss. We can use hello on this too. And just go right on our paper. And if it didn't work out, we could always cut a strip and just cover it. But sometimes it's fun to just stamp right on our designer series paper. And how easy was this little card? Hello, Donna. You've not been around for a bit. Welcome back. And I didn't burnish the fold on this card, and I'm kind of seeing it a little bit. We'll just go here. Yes, this designer series paper is adorable. The stamp set in the bundle is not available right now. The dies are available, but who wants to get the dies without the stamp set, because it's less expensive if you get it as a set. And then let's do a couple more little ladybugs here and some dewdrops, because those dewdrops are just so cute. They're pretty. We'll accentuate our little caterpillar here. You probably can't see that, but it looks pretty cool from here. Yes, I understand everything being very busy this time of year. Things are starting to feel like they're settling down for me. Although we did have our granddaughter last night. Well, yesterday afternoon, and then her mom came and picked her up this afternoon. So we weren't expecting it necessarily, but it was fun to have her. So look at how cute that is. So now I just need to do, I'll do a Blackberry Bliss layer in here and a white layer. So we can do 3 3/4 by 5. Did you know that, let me get a piece of white. You know, normally we take a piece of white and we cut it into 4 layers, right? So that they're a layer, 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 right? So when we're doing for card front pieces. But did you know if you go 3 3/4 by 5, hopefully this will work. and then by 5. And that makes a nice layer size. You know, it's just a little bit smaller, right? So this is 4 3/4. Probably should have done 4 3/4. Let's do, what did I say? 3 3/4. So let's do 3 1/2. 3 1/2. That's what I should have done. 3 1/2. 3 1/2. 3 1/2. And then you get 5 layers out of an 8 1/2 instead of just 4. So if you ever want to conserve some of your paper, and then you've got a nice little strip for a sentiment too. And then you could have like a skinny sentiment too. But look at how much more you can get out of a piece of 8 1/2 by 11 by just cutting it a little bit different. So if I did 3 1/2 and then 4 3/4, you'd get 5 all the same size. This way I've got 2 that are a little bit bigger, which is good, you know, which might actually be preferred. So I've got 2 a little bit bigger, 3 the smaller, and then I've got 2 pieces for sentiments. Normally I would only get 4 pieces out of that piece of cardstock for my insides. Let me go get a piece of the Blackberry Bliss. Another piece. Because I'm going to layer that on the inside, and we'll just finish this card off. So I'm going to do 5 1/4, 4, one of these pieces should fit nicely in here. So we can use this one, and then we'll have about the same border as we have on the front. Or we could use one that's a little bit smaller and have more of a frame on the inside. Personally, I prefer this one so that the front and the inside kind of speak to each other. So let's just get these glued in, and then that card will be all done. Now I could fussy cut a couple of the little critters and put them inside this card as well, which would be easy enough to do. Kind of like we did here. Oh, I wondered why it was hanging up. There's a little bit of glue that got smudged there. So we could fussy cut a couple of those little critters and put them on the inside of this card too. Or we don't have to. So cute. Two cards, just like that. You can save those. And then the other thing we could do is layer a couple of these, or create a focal point, and you could do a little fun fold, or even like this. That might be fun. Let me go get another piece of Blackberry Bliss. I have an idea. What do you know? I have one cut the size I wanted it. So here, if we've got an 11 by 4 1/4, we've got it scored at 5 1/2. And then for this one, we're going to cut off 2 3/4, I think. We're going to cut off half of the 5 1/2. So half of 5 1/2 would be 2 1/2 and 2 3/4. So let's go 2 3/4. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this like this, and we can put this on here. So if I cut this down, looks like I need about a 1/2 inch off of there. Hopefully I eyeballed it right. Yep, so 1/2 inch off of there. We can take a piece of, let's see, I'm not so keen on this design, so I'm going to put this down instead. So let's cut a 1/2 inch off of there. So we'll put that down here. And if you really like that mushroom or toadstool, whatever you want to call it, by all means, use it from your batch. It's just, I'm not a fan of that one, that's all. And I'm going to go ahead, oops, I just got glue on that edge again too. I'm going to open this up because I'll be able to see it better. Because that Blackberry Bliss is a very dark color. So Donna, how have you been otherwise? Besides busy over the holidays. There. All right, so let's glue this on. All right, and then this is going to go here. It's going to be centered there. So I don't want to have any adhesive more than halfway over. Well, that's good to hear, Donna. So let's just try to center that on our card as best we can. And then we're going to take another piece. Now I like all of these. They're kind of cute, but I need that piece. So in fact, we could probably do this and just put white here. I like that idea. All right, so we're going to do, well, it looks a little crooked now. It's stuck pretty good. Hopefully it's not that crooked. And so I need 2 3/4 again here. And we're going to glue that right here. That'll be cute. Now I have to decide if I'm going to buy this whole suite when it becomes available or just the bundle. The ribbon that goes with this is pretty cute too. It's almost like a crocheted piece, or it looks to be. That looks good. I'm looking to see here if I've got it lined up. And then we're going to put 2 pieces of white here. Beautiful. So we can go, I'm just going to put some little hash marks. I could measure, but who wants to measure? We'll just cut that like so. If I can get by without measuring, I will. So that can go right there. And that one can go there. Now we've got this little buckle here, and I don't know that it matters. But we could always put another piece here and this piece here, or this piece here and a buckle across here. I think it might make more sense with the white and white coming across, because then you could write more in there. What do you think? Let's take a 1/2 inch off of here just for kicks. So if we did this on the inside, we'd carry that whole theme in there. And then we could even just put a small piece so it's not covering that too much. That might look better. That way the inside of our card doesn't look naked. And then we'll definitely probably want to put some kind of critter focal point there. You could probably have even made that a pocket to put a gift card in. Wonder if that would fit. Let's see. Yeah, you could put a gift card in there. Something to think about. That little tab then would have a purpose on the inside too. Of course, you could always make this the pocket for the gift card. I like that better because then you've got more room to work with here. We'll do that. We had a little bit of trouble trying to think if it was, I don't think it was at Christmas. It might have been. With gift cards, I want to make sure I've got the glue, the part that's not glued coming over this way. Envelopes had been sliced open, gift cards dropped out, and then they delivered the card. The occasion card. So they just, whoever it was, probably somebody at the post office. But they were ones that came from Arizona, and it affected us here in Wisconsin, and the little ones that are in, we've got more family in Kenosha, which is just the next county south from here. It affected their little ones too. They didn't get their gift cards either. So that's kind of fun. So let's find some critters. To put on the front. And I told you that I wasn't going to, I didn't intend on fussy cutting anything else, but she went to bed, so we're going to end up having to fussy cut something anyway. So let's find another little piece. That's kind of cute. I think maybe this caterpillar and, oh, your catalogs went missing too, huh? So my paper pumpkins did. My paper pumpkin kits from December. So I reached out to demonstrator support. They shipped off new ones. The old ones from my original order in December, from December 11th or 12th when they got shipped out, they still show as pending delivery, and every day they update the date to be the next day. They arrived, and then 3 days later, the replacement shipment from Stampin' Up! Arrived. So now I have double the kits, and I sent an email off to Stampin' Up! To say, now I have double. What do I need to do? But they Stampin' Up! Fixed it right away, even though we knew it was a postal service issue. And you would think that there wouldn't be as much trouble getting things delivered because there's fewer things going through the postal service. But I also think they probably cut back on personnel, or personnel are retiring or opting for other employment, and then they have to bring in like temporary people or people that aren't properly trained. It is a shame though that people have to steal from others, especially when it's going to the kids. Not that they should steal from anybody, but all right, so he's kind of cute. She's kind of cute, I guess. I'm gonna find, I think maybe a circle punch or something, because that needs a little break in the action there. Let's find a circle punch and see what that looks like. That might be cute. Let me cut this edge off just a little bit more. Yeah. And if it doesn't look good, it's only paper. I can always do more, right? That's pretty busy. That did not have the effect I intended. So we might have to use that on a different card. That's a little bit better. What do you think? And then if we put a little sentiment on here, like that hello, right? We could do the hello again. We'll see. We'll see what this looks like. If we don't like it, we just won't make any more of these. This bottle glue is almost done for. And then I'm going to go ahead and put that up on dimensionals. Did you ever get your mini catalog delivered? I mean, it's Stampin' Up! Send another one. Postal service is not what it used to be, that's for sure. I think I'm going to put some more of these clear ones right on that caterpillar again. I like that. I'm just doing every other one. So that was quick and easy too. So I think that's all we're going to do tonight. We got through 3, which is more than I usually end up getting through, right? Let's clean up some of my debris here. We could actually keep this and turn that into like a little spotlight card. That would be fun. We'll hang on to that piece. I'm sure we'll be doing more with this. We'll get this cleaned up here. And then I will call it a night. But it's an adorable set. Now these look like they could be all from the dies. There's a die for this. There's a die for the Lily of the Valley. There's a die for the bumblebee. So these are all die cut, probably from the designer series paper, but you could also stamp them. So this is going to be a really, really fun kit stamp set to work with. So let's just go over our 3 little cards. So we got a panel card, just a quick and easy card using just those DSP fronts that were on there, and then a fun little fun fold. So that was just a regular landscape card, cut off half of it, flip that over and make a card front. Cute stuff. So this is from that demonstrator retreat I went to yesterday. That was pretty fun card. Not exactly how it was demonstrated, but I didn't have the stamp set, so we just used the paper instead. And I think it worked out just fine. Now, if anybody's interested, now I know, Donna, you weren't here last night, but the last 2 nights we were doing the Join the Challenge, the Stampin' Up! Monthly Sketch Challenge. And this is what we ended up with. Let me zoom out just a little bit more so you can see all of it. But from last night, anybody that's tuning in to catch the final product here, and maybe I should pull this out too, because I know there were quite a few more gals that were here the last couple of nights. But I added the footprints across here, and I think that might be it. I just did the footprints. I think that was the only thing we had left to do, because I wasn't sure that I liked how open it was. So I will make the slits to make these pockets once I decide if I'm putting this in an album that already has some pages, that I might have to cut other page protectors. But I think these turned out really cool. I did post that picture for Stampin' Up! With that hashtag. So we'll see if we get noticed on a Stampin' Up! Reel. Thanks for popping in with me tonight. I love sharing some of these new products with everybody and sharing some ideas. And until next time, happy crafting. Have a good week.